Hello, investors and traders, and welcome to the weekly market report. I'm AJ Monte, Chief Technical Analyst with StickyTrades.com, and we have a lot of action for you, especially next week. Monday, we are launching our website for the first time. It's the big reveal. And then 2 days after that, on Wednesday, you might want to pay very close attention to what happens coming out of the Fed with the Fed funds rate and the announcement there on Wednesday at 2 p.m. So stay tuned and make sure you're managing risk accordingly, even prior to the Fed announcement, because if the markets are jolted in any way, shape, or form, you want to make sure that you're protecting your positions, especially the downside. So let's take a look at DIA. This is the Dow Jones Industrial Average ETF, and that is the target that I still have in place at 341.84. Take a look. As we look down at the stochastic, it's rolling over, not quite at a sell signal just yet, but that's called a hinge. We had a shooting star yesterday and a shooting star on Wednesday. So the CCI is starting to roll over pretty hard, and this drop in volume on the way up is telling us that the bulls are letting up on the gas pedal. So that downside target still in place right there at 341.84. Let's take this in alphabetical order, going with IWM. We have an official pivot point here. You see we have lower highs, lower lows following in 3 days here of this pivot point and the formation of that pivot point. Downside target is 187.62. We do have an official cross on the stochastic, and we have a sell signal cross on the CCI. Now, one little bit of information here, which was different than DIA, is that we have a very, very slight increase in volume today on the way down. So that means that the bears are pushing the gas pedal down, not quite pedal to the metal. We'll have to see what happens next week coming into Wednesday's announcement. But if you see the volume start to increase on the way down, meaning the price going down, volume going up, that's telling us that the selling pressure is increasing. So again, to reiterate that target is 187.62. Looking at QQQ, had a rebalancing here this week. Look what's happening. Again, a pivot point. We still have lower highs, lower lows. The stochastic is crossed with a sell signal. CCI crossed with a sell signal 2 days ago. And we are on our way to a possible cross below that zero line. For those of you who have been following me long enough, you'll know that once that zero line is crossed, we generally get 2 to 4 days of pressure in the direction of the cross. So if we cross lower, we'll probably get at least 2 more down days out of that after the cross. So this one, again, is still in place on that price target right there, not moving that. That is going to be 367.74. Moving on to SPY, see right here, again, another pivot point. We have the stochastic crossing today with a sell signal. The CCI crossed yesterday with a sell signal. Notice that the CCI generally leads on the signals, and many times a day or two before the stochastic crosses with a sell signal. I covered that in depth yesterday during our equity webinar, and then on Wednesday, again, I'm going to get to that to show you the link of what we did on Wednesday. You know, a lot of people question, hey, your targets haven't hit, or you're off on this one. Well, if you're following along with me, especially on Wednesdays, we have an extremely high success rate with regard to hitting targets, and the video on YouTube is the evidence of that. In fact, last week we did 2 5-part forecasts. What's a 5-part forecast? Well, I forecasted up, down, and what would happen in between with regard to the oscillators and volume. And I assure you, no one else is going to be able to do that like the way we do it here at StickyTrades. So stay tuned to those videos and make sure that you're following along with the charts as well. So again, to reiterate, that downside target is not changing. That is 442.49, and that brings us to the VIX. Look at the VIX. We finally see at least a little bit of bullishness here, and that only little bit of bullishness is actually coming in the stochastic right there. Next week, I do believe that the VIX is going to start to close over that moving average, which is just under 14. To be exact, it's 1393. And once we start closing over that moving average, I think we'll see the VIX start to climb. This was a two-part forecast, if you remember. I forecasted lower, it went lower. We're now waiting for the rally in the VIX, which, by the way, is inversely related to the S&P. Now, let's talk a little bit about silver. I was talking about this to our members. I did mention that I am out of 15% of my position. I'm making that very public, but look what happened this week. We had silver come within a penny. Actually, the gap had filled. Technically, we're calling it a fill because the distance between that high and the actual gap fill is less than a penny. It's a fraction of a penny. So we're counting that as a fill. And 80% of the time gaps fill, but after the gaps fill, that generally turns to resistance if it's an upside gap. And then 80% of the time we see prices drop. So I'm giving everyone a heads up on what I'm going to do before I do it. You see, most of the analysts that you see on these financial programs are telling you where their targets are on these stocks, but that's after they've taken a position. See, I'm doing the opposite. I'm allowing you to trade ahead of me. I'm telling you where the zone is, more or less where I'm going to be buying. So in this area right here, if silver drifts into that box, I'm going to start buying, but I'm going to be waiting for the signals to occur before I do that. I'm going to be waiting for pivot points on the CCI. I might look for a drop in volume on the way down. Might look to see maybe if even that gap fills down there. But understand, I will be a buyer in this area, taking the cash that I generated from the sale up top and using that to buy more shares. And I repeat this over and over again as my strategy to parlay the position. Now let's talk a little bit more about StickyTrades. This is our website. It will be live on Monday. You'll be able to go to StickyTrades.com. You can create a new account. You can look around. There's videos there. There's educational resources that you have available to you. Right on the front page there's a video you can get for free right there. And then a listing of what we are doing with regard to our courses and educational content. Now, if you are watching this video, chances are you picked it up on YouTube. I am asking that if you want to get alerts on when these videos come out, all you have to do is go up right to the top right there and click on that notification bell. Many of you know how to do that with other sites. Do it here, and you'll be sent a message when these videos are posted. Again, as I referenced, on Wednesday, we did the rapid fire stock analysis for a full hour, and then we did a call last night for just under an hour. Now, here's a little bit of a tip to save you time. Go and change the speed on the videos to 1.5 times speed. You could still understand me. I sound a little bit like Mickey Mouse because it's fast forward more or less, but you'll get through the content faster and you'll be able to get all of the targets. Now, we normally do not put that rapid fire segment or any of our webinars on YouTube for the public. It's members only, but because of the transition that we are making and helping people make the transition to StickyTrades, we are keeping that open. And then next week, these webinars and videos will be member only. So that is it for this week. You have a great weekend. Looking forward to Monday's launch. Stay tuned for the next video that comes up. It'll give you a little bit more information. We're very excited. And you'll get to see our mascot, Sticky, the Australian Shepherd. Make sure you stay tuned for that. We're having a lot of fun over here. Hope you are too. And until then, we'll talk to you next week. So long.